Ian and Jase, how you doing?
Hi mate, you alright? Yeah, not bad.
Good. Getting set for Christmas. Have you thought about it yet, or is it some way off?
Somebody said to me the other day, "Is your Christmas tree up?" I said, "Yeah, it's up in the loft where it belongs." It's actually Sarah's putting it up at the moment. So
yeah, I put the Christmas.
Yeah, that's really probably the first time I thought about it, but I suppose because I'm involved in Panto, it kind of passes you by a little bit, really. But
yeah, I guess with the Panto as well, the days must fly really quick, and before you know it, it'll be Christmas Day.
Yeah, exactly. Because we work Panto right the way through up to Christmas Eve, and then they get Christmas Day off, and then they're back in on Boxing Day as well.
And I guess Panto is like a Christmas party every day almost.
Yeah, it is. I mean, obviously, once you've seen it and done it a few times, it becomes a bit like parrot fashion after a while. But yeah, is that what it is? Yeah, one big Christmas party. Yeah.
Okay, let's get into footy. So there are a few things that were left over from the previous cast. So let's start off with those. So all-time 11, final pick, your 11th player.
I thought we'd done all 11.
Did we choose the final one? Because I don't remember choosing the final. Who was your final player? I think there's one player left.
Oh yeah, there is. Yeah, you're right.
So well, let me go first. Let me go first because you usually go first. So I'll go through my 11 if I can remember it. So Neville Southall in goal, Cafu right back, Maldini left back, Beckenbauer and Desai. Was it Desai? Then midfield I had Makaleli, Maradona, Cruyff at left wing, George Best right wing, two forwards, Messi on the left, and my final forward will be Pele. Okay.
Oh well, we needn't go through mine then because my final forward was Pele as well.
Yeah, I just thought about it. You can't leave him out. I mean, so I was just looking at some of his old clips. So he was just something out of this world. Yeah, Ronaldo's a great player, but I just think maybe Pele is just a little bit got a bit more stardust. Yeah.
I don't think. I mean, when you consider what he did in the era that he did it, if you look at his stats, if anybody did those kind of stats in today's football, it would be a massive achievement. But to do it in the era that he played in, you know, when the ball was like a medicine ball and boots were like concrete, and you know he was literally getting lumps kicked out of him when he was a teenager, you know, and he still managed to get up and shake him down and then stick it in the back of the net to shut him up. I mean, I know it's a cheesy thing, but when he did that Escape to Victory film, when he played with his dislocated collarbone or whatever it was, and he did the overhead kick, you could actually imagine him doing that. And I think there was probably a little bit of tongue in cheek with that, in as much as that it was a bit of a homage to his actual career. You know, the amount of times he got literally chunks kicked out of him, and he'd then shake himself off and get up and score an absolute belter, like, you know.
Yeah.
Time and time again, it's to happen.
Yeah, sometimes it looked like, I was looking at some of the old clips, it was like he beat two or three defenders once, and then it's almost like, well, I'm going to beat you again before I score, you know.
That's right, yeah. Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, he was just the best ever. You can't leave him out.
Okay, so that's that out of the way. And yeah, next time we'll think about who our coach will be for that team.
Yeah, just while we're talking about favourite players and stuff, I'd just like to do a little rest in peace, Ray Kennedy. Ray Kennedy.
Yeah.
Because Ray Kennedy was he was probably the most unsung well, use the word lightly, I suppose, Liverpool hero back in the day. He was brilliant. He was just a brilliant player, and Arsenal, Arsenal as well. He played well for Arsenal.
Yeah, well, he was at Arsenal before Liverpool, and he won the double in '71 with Arsenal. I didn't realise when he was at Arsenal, he's actually a forward. So Bob Paisley converted him to a midfielder after things weren't really going that well when he was a forward at Liverpool. So he converted him to a midfielder. But the thing as well about that, the thing about Ray Kennedy as well was he was only 70. So, he wasn't that much older than we are, to be honest. And yet there he was winning a double in 1971. So he must have been really young when he did that. And you look at it.
He signed for Liverpool on the day that Shankly left.
Yeah.
So that's quite significant, I think, really.
But it sounded like he'd been suffering from Parkinson's for a long time.
Yeah. And it was that whole heading the ball thing, they reckon, as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you look at his list of honours, it's impressive. The double with Arsenal. I think he might have won a European medal with them. I'm not sure about that. And then, of course, 5 league titles with Liverpool, 3 European Cups, possibly a UEFA Cup as well. I don't know. An FA Cup. Yeah.
2 UEFA Cup.
2 UEFA Cups, yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. Probably an unsung hero. Not necessarily.
I'd certainly put him in that bracket alongside Jimmy Case as one of the most, probably underrated players. In fact, Jimmy Case never played for England. What's that about? And Ray Kennedy only played a handful of games for England as well. I mean, it's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, I remember him playing for England, and to me, he didn't stick out. But then that makes you wonder about who the England managers were, and were they really getting the best out of those players?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was genuinely. I mean, I know we've had a lot of players from our glory days, die recently. What with Ray Clements and Tommy Smith a bit before that, and all the rest of it, but. I was genuinely upset to hear about Ray Kennedy.
Yeah, all of these names, as you say, really they're our period, to be honest. And just each one, it's just like a death knell in my coffin, it feels to me. It just saps the energy out of you, So I just feel there's kind of a loneliness about it,
Yeah.
Part chunks of your life being removed,
Right, that's right. They just become memories, don't they?
Yeah. Yeah. Also, so staying on that, on the sad news. So, and I saw a tweet from you. Also, John Sillett passed away.
Yeah.
So, and George Curtis passed away earlier this year. So, and of course, John Sillett was the co-manager of Coventry when they won, I think is their sole major trophy. So, and it was in one of the best, if not the best, FA Cup finals in living memory anyway.
Yeah.
So 3-2, Keith Houchin. Was the Keith Houchin the header the winner or the equaliser? I'm not sure. So
they put them 2-1 up, I think, and then Tottenham came back to equalise, I'm sure, and then they got that strange goal, didn't they? Because Mabbott scored an own goal, didn't he? And he got one at the other end as well.
Right, yeah, I don't remember the other goals that well, to be honest. So
I think it was Lloyd McGrath or whatever his name was, put one over, and it came off Mabbott and went in. I can't remember who scored. It was Dave Bennett that scored the first goal.
Did Brian Kilcline score by any chance in that game?
He did. No, I don't think he did. He was the captain. I know. I thought Dave Bennett scored their first one.
Yeah, but I've just seen some of the tweets from some of his former players, and it's great when you see clubs like Coventry do manage to put a trophy in the cabinet, because you could see they're still living off that moment, and they deserve it really, having played all those years and, without much reward. So
newsflash.
Yeah.
Everton 2, Arsenal 1, full time.
Wow. I wonder when
79 and 92nd minute.
Wow.
We were just writing them off.
Yeah, speaking of late goals, that was a sickener for me the other day with that Origi. I was just thinking, just waiting for the final score and thinking, 0-0, come on, 0-0. And then goal flash, bloody Origi, so Origi. Absolute sickener. But
yeah, you still went top at the end of the day. So
yeah, shouldn't be worried about things like that. Just be worried about City's own games, to be honest.
So I'm just wondering, because obviously when I watched the last Everton game before when they lost to Liverpool, well, actually they didn't lose to Liverpool; they got mullered by Liverpool, and that Everton fans were sneaking out after 19 minutes. I wonder how many snuck out before the 79th minute today.
I know you famously left a Cheltenham game at half time when Alan Churchill was single. Was it 5-0 at half time or something? I can't remember. What was this? 5-1? They were losing at half time?
I think it was 4-0 at half time. I thought, I can't stomach this anymore. It's the one and only time I've ever left a match. Even at Wimbledon on Saturday, I was thinking, it did cross my mind for about 30 seconds to actually leave early and get the train back to Portsmouth a bit earlier.
Well, I have to say, the only game I can remember ever leaving early was Sligo against Linfield. It was at halftime, and it was just like a war zone. So I didn't leave because of the football. I just left because of the behaviour of those fans. So,
well, the only other time I left the game early wasn't because the game was was the game crap? I don't know. I was on holiday in Scotland. I was at Stirling Albion versus Selkirk in the Scottish Cup, and me and my mate Stuart, we left with about quarter of an hour to go, and Stirling were 13-0 up. we thought we'll leave, we'll get to the pub, and when we got to the pub, it was 20-0. We missed 7 goals in the last 15 minutes. Yeah, it was dire.
Yeah, to be honest, especially with how much tickets cost these days, and at City as well. City are just as the worst, as bad as anybody, or maybe the worst. Just they leave. They leave well before the end. And I'm thinking, you've been looking forward to the game all week. You've paid all that money to go in, and then you're leaving with, sometimes it's 5-10 minutes before the end.
Well, some of the Cheltenham fans lost their temper when Wimbledon scored their 4th, or should I say, when Cheltenham gave Wimbledon their 4th. And they literally just got very vocal at Scott Flinders, behind the goal and that, and they were like, the stewards were holding them back and all the rest of it. And it wasn't Flinders' fault; they were just taking it out on him. And it must have been about 40, 50 of them just left the ground, and then they missed all the excitement in the last 10 minutes. When literally Cheltenham threw everything but the chicks.
That's the thing. Those are the times when the most amazing moments in football happen.
Yeah,
you think about the City winning the title in 2012, for example.
Liverpool, Barcelona.
Yeah.
Cheltenham, Rushden.
Yeah.
Man United, Bayern.
Yeah, I always stay till the end.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So another game seems to be happening more and more frequently in France. Another game abandoned because of bottles being thrown and violence. So I don't know what's going on over there.
It's the same. I think it's the same trend that you get here. when I know we've touched on this in the past. I don't really want to go down that road again. But when there's like sort of political unrest, and I think it's a bit like that in France at the moment as well.
Yeah.
You know, I remember all the in the Thatcher years.
Yeah.
That was when British hooliganism was at its peak or its worst, or whatever you want to call it. You know, it's just the same, I think, in other countries. I think they use football as a way to vent and take it out and stuff.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, football itself then becomes the victim of it.
Yeah.
You know, they don't choose other sports to do it at for some reason.
Yeah. We were talking about this before as well. I just noted, I think it was last week. So I think Pep Guardiola was just repeating that if you have the ball, the other team can't score. He just repeated it.
That's what I used to tell my Springbank lads, my under-14s. That's what I used to say to them.
It's true. And well, it's not 100% true because you could score an own goal, but that's not going to happen very often unless you're Richard Dunn, you know. So,
although I don't know, but Wimbledon scored the own goal of the season on Saturday. I don't know if you've seen the goal. Have you seen the goal?
No, I haven't. I didn't see the goals.
Oh, mate, seriously, Cheltenham's third goal. Scotty Flinders, he launched a massive kick upfield. I think it bounced once. It might not even have bounced at all. I think it bounced once. And the Wimbledon sort of centre half, who was sort of like on the edge. Well, on the edge. He wasn't even on the edge of his area, but he was in line with the edge of the area. And he didn't even look. He didn't even look to see where his keeper was. And he just goes, "Oh, I'm knocking that back to you, mate." Bang! And he's headed it. He's headed it from about 25 yards. And the keeper's like, "What the hell are you doing?"
Did it go over his head? It went over the goalie's head?
And he's running back to try and get it. And the Cheltenham forward Norton was trying to go and get the cheeky tap in, but even he couldn't catch it. It was going and it was going, and it went in. Yeah, it set up a bit of a grandstand finish, but too little, too late, really.
Yeah. So I think City at the moment, not saying they're going to win the title or anything, because they could have a dip in form, but I think City are playing really well. And some players I had doubted really have upped their levels. So Bernardo.
When have you got to play West Ham?
Say that again.
When are you playing West Ham?
Yeah, City lost to them in the League Cup, Carabao Cup. Then they beat them in the league a few weeks ago. So they played them already.
Yeah, when have you next got them in the league?
That will probably be in the new year, I think. So I don't know. My guess is maybe March time.
Banana skin that, mate.
So West Ham, they did United and then they did Chelsea the other day.
Did Liverpool as well. Yeah.
But then, the difference is you beat those teams, but you've got to beat the other teams. So then, did they lose to Wolves, or I think they lost to Wolves. So
yeah, but I don't care about that as long as they're taking points off Chelsea and Man City. I don't care about that. But they took points off Liverpool as well. So.
Yeah, sorry to disappoint you. They City beat them, but it was a tough game. Yeah, the other thing I noticed was I was watching a game. I think it must have been a Champions League game, and the goalkeeper, the commentator says, "Great save!" And I look at the replay, and the ball's hit straight at the goalkeeper. So, and I think it's just another one of those ones where if he doesn't save it, the commentator would say, "Well, he should have saved that."
Yeah.
You ever thought about that? So,
yeah.
Okay.
And also the one. What annoys me with that as well is when the commentators don't see in real time, they don't see that a keeper has like fingertipped it around the post or over the bar or whatever, and they're like saying, oh, he almost got it on target, blah, 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 blah. And then they slow it right down. And then you just know, you can tell that the commentator sees it in the slow motion replay, but he doesn't want to admit to the world that he's missed it first time. So he still doesn't mention it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Especially when when it's given as a goal kick or something, right? And you can see the ball diverts off the fingers or whatever. It just drives me mad.
Yeah, that reminds me of the story. Graeme Souness, was he on Sky? I can't remember where he was telling it, but he was saying when he arrived at Liverpool from Middlesbrough, wasn't it? So I think Graeme Souness, didn't he play for Tottenham? Then he went to Middlesbrough. Then he went to Liverpool. Is that right?
I wasn't aware that he played for Tottenham, but you might be right.
Yeah, I got a feeling he did. But anyway, I'm sure he moved to Liverpool from Middlesbrough.
I know we signed him and Phil Boersma around about the same time, I think.
Oh, that's a name from the past. I'd forgotten about Phil Boersma. Bloody hell.
They had similar haircuts, I believe.
Wow. And
hey, guess who I ran into at Wimbledon?
What
a name from the past.
A player or a supporter?
An ex cricketing colleague of ours.
A Ginge? Bloody hell.
Yeah. He looks exactly the same.
Yeah, he used to do stewarding at Wadden Road, didn't he? I don't know whether he's still doing that.
I don't know, but he looked exactly the same.
So, Graeme Souness, getting back to Graeme Souness. So he was saying when he got to Liverpool and they were in practice and he would if he hit the post or hit the crossbar and he'd maybe go, whoa. And Ronnie Moran was saying, what are you doing? Ooh, and that you bloody missed. hitting the post or hitting the crossbar is not a bloody goal. You got to put in the bloody net. So I think that tells you. And also he was saying that when they won all their league medals and FA Cup medals, Ronnie Moran and co, who were the other guys? They used to come around and say, stick your medals in there, and they used to throw them away.
Yeah.
Put them in a box in the underneath the stairs or something, you know. Okay, yeah. So so what was that? Yeah, so I think it must be the FA Vase. Yeah, that's it. The FA Vase. So yeah, I think I lost track of who we were following. It was Anstey, Winterton, Harbour Town. Yeah, I think Prestwich Hayes. They beat Harbour Town in the FA Vase. So the FA Vase is now on to the third round. Also in the FA Trophy, Mask, they got knocked out by Matlock, who were riding pretty high in the Northern Premier League, I think it is.
Yeah.
So Mask are gone. I saw the prize money. Prize money for the winners in that third round was £3,750.
Yeah.
The losers get £1,000. So in the second round of the cup, I don't know how much money do you reckon Cheltenham would have got from the FA for that game?
I don't know, not as much as you would have thought, because none of it was televised. Yeah, it was one of the few games that didn't have any television coverage. but it's the knock on, isn't it? It's like if they'd have got through that, they would have been playing Boreham Wood, who won their replay tonight.
Yeah,
not a replay, their game tonight.
Yeah.
And no disrespect to Boreham Wood, you would have expected Cheltenham to maybe win that. And then you're there in the fourth round again, like they were last year, against one of the big boys. You know, It's like that's when the money counts. You know.
Yeah, the TV money. I don't know how much would they have got from that. Also, Newcastle going back a few years as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you get a lot of money for TV coverage.
You're talking about hundreds of thousands, aren't you, for that?
250,000, I think they got from Man City. I think.
Okay, and then let's have a look at some of the teams third from bottom. So, third from bottom in the Premier League, Burnley. So I think they're struggling this year. They seem to be struggling to score goals.
Yeah.
But, you know, I think they're one of those clubs, even if they go down, they'll stick with Sean Dyche and then they'll still be strong in the Championship, or you disagree with that?
I don't necessarily disagree with it, but I think if they go down, I don't think Sean Dyche will want to stay. I think he'll want to go somewhere different. I think he will have said he's taken Burnley as far as he could take them.
Do you reckon he could take any? Do you reckon he could do better with another club, or is he another one of those managers who's reached his ceiling?
It's hard to say. I mean, you look at some of the clubs. I mean, some clubs are like big clubs that just yo-yo about, don't they? I mean, I think Norwich and West Brom spring to mind for me.
Yeah.
I think if he was at somewhere like that, maybe, or even somewhere like QPR or Fulham or somewhere like that.
Yeah.
I think he could do a really good job. If you gave him a big club, I mean, one of the big clubs. Yeah. I think he'd be out of his depth, but I might be wrong.
Okay, League One, Fleetwood are third from bottom. So I don't know a lot about Fleetwood. I think they've got a bit of financial backing, haven't they?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, got a nice little ground too. But they beat us. They beat us up at their place.
Yeah,
we've got a few tough games coming up, I've got to say.
Then League Two, it seems they seem to be moving about, because every time we talk about League Two, it seems to be Carlisle. So I think they might have picked up a point or two. So they're now third from bottom in League Two. Then I think they've taken a bit of a dip since we started following them. Was it in the FA Cup Maidenhead? They're now third from bottom in the National League. And then third from bottom in the National League North, Guiseley. So I remember them coming down to play Cheltenham. Was it in the Trophy or the FA Cup a long time ago? And I can remember the chants of Guiseley, Guy, in a Yorkshire cloth cap accent. Sort of last of the summer wine, it was kind of like. And then National League South, third from bottom, Chelmsford. That brings back memories from Cheltenham's Southern League days.
Yeah.
Northern Premier League, third from bottom, Gainsborough. Another team with an interesting name, Gainsborough Trinity. So they're third from bottom in the Northern Premier. They're kind of, they seem to be mainstays of that league. Then in the Brazilian, what's the name of the Brazilian league? So, for example, in Holland, it's Eredivisie. I don't know how you pronounce it. How about in La Liga in Spain? What about in Brazil?
I don't know. You caught me on the hop there. Let me have a quick gander. Brazilian League. Will it actually say the Brazilian? Oh yeah, it's the Campeonato Brasileiro.
Oh right.
Serie A.
Yes, Serie A. On the BBC website, didn't say anything about the Campeonato Brasileiro or whatever, but it says Serie A. Yeah,
it basically translates to Brazilian Championship Series A.
So Grêmio, they're third from bottom. Actually, I got a friend, my old friend from university. He actually lives in, is it Porto Alegre? I can't remember. He actually lives in the city where they play. But when I said to him, "Are you a Grêmio supporter?" He said, "You joking?" It was like an insult. So he said he was a Corinthian supporter. So, but I got a feeling Grêmio won some honours a few years ago.
Yeah, they might have done. Yeah, I know that. Going back to Subbuteo team painting, the Brazilian teams are really popular. Teams like Flamengo and Corinthians and Fluminense. Fluminense is a lovely kit. It's a really lovely kit.
Yeah, I guess that's why they must have some nice kits.
They have got some nice kits. Yeah,
I think I had the Brazil team when I was a kid. Subbuteo team.
Everybody did. It was all the Brazilian teams that in Subbuteo, they're just what they would call classic teams.
I think I might also have had Peru, or did somebody else have Peru? I'm not sure.
Yeah, Peru was another favourite.
Okay, and then so closer to home, Jason, the FA Cup, Portsmouth lost to Harrogate in the deep into injury time, and who scored the goal? Jack Diamond. So what a great name. So a diamond of a player, I would say.
That was the carrot of the third round.
Okay, and then so we were just talking about West Ham. So of course they've done Liverpool, Man United, and now they've also done Chelsea. In that game, I watched the highlights. I didn't watch it live, but so I think, was it to get back? Was it the first goal? I think it was the first goal. Or was it to get back to 2-2? I can't remember. They got a penalty. And even Mendy, the Chelsea goalkeeper, he didn't complain about it. But personally, I felt Bowen dived myself. Did you think he dived? Or it was a definite penalty?
Defo.
I think Do you think he embellished it?
I shouted it to Tony straight away, penalty.
He didn't embellish it? You don't think he embellished it?
No, I didn't change my mind when I saw the replay either.
Yeah, I'm not convinced about that myself.
But the thing is, I mean, for me, the goalkeeper's reaction said it all.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the Chelsea players didn't argue, but personally, I felt he was looking.
I think he goes down a little bit dramatically, but I do think there was definite contact. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, and then so we were talking about South Africa's qualifier against Ghana. So their appeal is being dismissed.
Good.
That's
my short answer to that.
Also, Sport in Lisbon have been sanctioned by UEFA for FFP breaches. So that FFP's gone a little bit under the radar since the Man City story. So
who was that? Sorry,
Sport in Lisbon, but apparently there were 7 other clubs that got punished for financial fair play. But these are all the clubs that are getting sanctioned are kind of the lesser lights. So you got to wonder whether there's an FFP apartheid, so depending on your status.
Oh, well, undoubtedly.
Okay, and then Gomenasai, hopping back to the FA Cup. So Halifax, the curse has worked again. So they beat whoever they beat, and then they go and lose to Kiddy. So Kidderminster in the third round of the FA Cup. I think they got a home tie against Reading maybe in the third round.
Yeah, they have. They got a Cheltenham player on loan as well. He did really well on Sunday.
So who's the Cheltenham player on loan?
Oh, Elliot Bonds, is it?
I don't know. You know who their manager is, don't you?
Who?
Kiddie's manager.
Who is it?
It's a former Cheltenham player.
Not Mark Yates.
No, 2011 to 2014, he played for Cheltenham. He was also an England C team player.
Who was that?
Russell Penn.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't even know England had a C team.
Yeah. Maybe he created it for his Wikipedia slot.
Maybe he did. I know they had a B team, but I didn't know they had a C team.
Yeah, and then in the Man United game against, who did they beat? Not at the weekend, but last in midweek. Who was it? I think they won 3-2. Was it 3-2 or on Thursday? Oh, Arsenal. They beat Arsenal. So Arsenal, that's a couple of games where Arsenal have been leading and they've lost. Personally, I think people have been going over the top with the improvement at Arsenal. Yeah, maybe they're better than they were before, but they're actually coming from a low level. When they're playing the stronger teams, they're still struggling a bit, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with that assessment.
But in that game, I think it was in that game, Ronaldo had the ball. I think it was Jim Beglin. So Ronaldo picked the ball up on the left corner of the box and sort of dribbled in. And there was a United player, possibly Sancho, I can't remember who it was, free over on the right with a defender between Ronaldo and the goal. And what does he do? Does he pass to the man all on his Bob Todd? No, he doesn't. He just scuffs a shot through to the goalkeeper. And Beglin's saying, well, why hasn't he passed the ball? So
isn't it? That's the problem. Most of them they're too individual. And that's what's causing them problems at the moment. Is they've got too many big stars that they can't play in the team. They just play by themselves. Yeah,
there's this argument, isn't there, about if you got sight of goal, just shoot, against the argument of passing it to somebody who's on their own. You see it a lot. Okay, of course, in the heat of the moment, maybe you don't see the player on their own, but some of the time you surely can see, and you should be looking to see that there's somebody free. I'm sure there are a lot of goals that could have been scored if that pass had been played. You see it a lot.
I do wonder whether the new offside rules play into that a little bit. Whether there's like that sort of fraction of a second doubt in a player's mind. You might see somebody over there, and he might think, "Oh, if I don't shoot and I pass, is he going to be offside? I might as well shoot," kind of thing. Do you know what I mean?
Well, actually, on that point, so where was it? Yeah, it was United at Chelsea, because United drew at Chelsea, didn't they? 1-1, and. So in that game, Jorginho made a mistake and Sancho just raced through. And Rashford was running alongside him. And yeah. So that was really poor play from Rashford. I mean, and I think somebody said that Sancho must have been a little bit annoyed, because he was almost running alongside him and ahead of him. So if he had passed to him, Rashford would have been offside. I thought that was really poor play from Rashford.
Yeah, just as well as Sancho scored, isn't it? Really?
Yeah. Yeah. What do you make of his of how things are going for him? So he's been talked up a lot. I feel in the last game or two he seems to have perked up a bit, but.
He's one of those players. He's one of the players that needs minutes. He needs minutes, and he wasn't getting the minutes under Solskjaer for whatever reason. I don't know why. But yeah.
Yeah, so
Definitely.
yeah, he left City for Dortmund, so I was really annoyed about that, to be honest. But fair play to him. He's he's in control of his own future, not Man City or Guardiola. Also, at the time when he was at City, Sané was there, so Sané kind of played in his position. So, and Sancho basically said, "I want a guaranteed spot in the first team," apparently. So, which couldn't be guaranteed.
Mm.
Yeah, getting back to sorry about this, bit of Man City again, but Guardiola, he was talking about rhythm. Players, they need to get into a rhythm. So, for example, De Bruyne has been out with COVID-19, but it's not only a matter of fitness, it's also a matter of getting into the rhythm, your own personal rhythm, but also the rhythm of the team.
Bloody Gloria Estefan.
Rhythm of the night. Is that Rhythm of the Night, wasn't it?
Rhythm's gonna get you.
Rhythm is going to get you. Rhythm of the Night, was that Cool in the Gang or something? I'm getting
no, that was DeBarge, mate.
Rhythm of the Night, DeBarge. Yeah, that's kind of 80s stuff, isn't it? Is it kind of mid to late 80s? I began to lose track from that time on, especially with the disco-y stuff.
What do you make of sort of, just digressing slightly, what do you make of Cheltenham Town's former chairman, Andy Wilcox, now being at Forest Green?
Yeah, I know you said there was something. Is he the guy who left under a bit of a cloud in the summer?
Yeah. Strange, isn't it?
So, why do you say it's strange?
Well, I just think it's strange. I mean, I'm not sure I'd want to go and move to a club having had the other club tattooed all over my arm. I'm not sure I'd want to do that, to be fair. I don't know. I just think it's a bit strange. I think it kind of, for me, it almost compounds the cloud a little bit more. If you know what I mean. I just think it's weird. I think it's odd.
Yeah. So was he there when those dealings with Bristol City took place, when Gary Johnson was boss and his son was the manager at Bristol City? Who was it? Cheltenham sold somebody to Bristol City.
Yeah, my wife, wasn't it? My wife. Yeah. I don't know if he was chair then. He might have been on the board, but I don't think he was chair then. I might be wrong. I
personally feel stuff like that is dodgy.
Yeah, a bit smelly. I mean, he's. I want to say he's where he belongs now at Forest Green, but that's probably a bit harsh. Yeah. Dale Vince. You don't eat mince.
He's done a good job at Forest Green, though, hasn't he? I mean, they're on the up.
If you like cardboard in your burgers, yeah.
So, also Villa and Palace charged with misconduct. So it's more of this. I think we're seeing more of it where players are surrounding the ref. It's going back to the old days of like Roy Keane and Gary Neville pressurizing the refs. I noticed it against Villa as well in the City Villa game.
Yeah.
I noticed the Villa players were really pressurizing the ref. You wonder whether that's a bit of Stevie Gerrard in that. So
maybe it's effective, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's why they do it. I think the coaches tell them to do it myself. I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure Ferguson told his players to do that. And like you said,
I need to tell you something funny about Saturday as well, right? So Wimbledon's mascot is a
Womble.
Is a Womble, right? So there's this bloody great big Womble walking around the back of the goal nets, and all of a sudden, 2 rows of Cheltenham fans just lobbed all their rubbish at him. Pick that up.
Yeah, that sounds like orchestrated.
Yeah, brilliant. Just brilliant. Made me laugh.
Which Womble was it? Which Womble?
Yeah. Wimbledon. Wimbledon Womble.
That reminds me. I'd forgotten all about it, but when I was a kid, my aunt gave my brother and I Wombles as Christmas presents. So we had
one.
Can't remember. Was it Uncle Togamori or Togamori? Togamori. I can't. So
Togamori.
Yeah, I can't remember who it was.
So I had Orinoco, but I also had to change a hat. So when I took his hat off and took his scarf off and put the hat on, he then became Wellington.
I got a feeling I had Wellington. Thanks. Yeah, I'd forgotten about that. I'd forgotten about their bloody names. Thanks for reminding me.
I know them all, mate. I know them all.
Yeah, I bet you still watch the programs. I'm sure there must be a channel with reruns.
There isn't, thank God.
Yeah, also Mike Batt. You don't hear the Womble. They did Wombling Merry Christmas, didn't they?
There's a sign, right? There's a sign on the railway in London, right? You've got in Stratford, you've got the 2 railways. You've got the underground and you've got the overground, right? And the signs are above each other, and it says underground, overground, and then somebody's written underneath in spray paint, Wombling free.
That just reminded me. You never hear that Wombles. I never hear that Wombling Christmas song. You think it'd be? Have you heard it? I haven't heard it for a long time.
A Wombling Merry Christmas.
Because you hear the same songs every year, but you don't hear that Wombling Merry Christmas, do you?
It is on the Now Christmas album. Oh, Jesus.
Mike Batt. Yeah.
Mike Batt, yeah. Oh, dear. Wombles, brilliant. Wombles must have been the British version of the banana splits, I reckon.
Yeah, great memories.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Everton. So they've turned it around. So I was thinking, I just seen their director of football's left, and I was just wondering, how much longer it would be before Benitez would be under pressure. But that's eased the pressure. But for how long, we don't know.
Well, that was a big 3 points for them. That's like 6 points for them, isn't it? They were like 3rd from bottom, weren't they, or something? Ridiculous. 4th from bottom.
I don't know. They'd been in a slump. They lost a lot of games in a row.
I think they were just outside the relegation zone.
Also, I don't know whether you saw the City game against Villa, but Bernardo's second goal. Was it the second goal? Did you see his second goal? It was like pass in the air across the front of the penalty box, and he didn't bother stopping it, didn't bother taking a touch. He thought, well, I just hit it into the net on the volley with the side of his foot. Fantastic goal.
Yeah, Liam Sercombe did a similar thing on Saturday, except it was almost caught by me and Jonna, and we were like about 19 rows above the top of the crossbar.
So what's that ground like? That's the new, that is it Plough Lane? It's still in Plough Lane, isn't it? Yeah,
it's weird. It's literally in the middle of an older block of flats, so you've got flats all the way around. Yeah, it is weird. It's just like someone's just picked up a ground and just plonked it in a car park or something of like loads of flats. It is weird. It's a nice little ground, but I wouldn't say it's a League One ground. They have got one side of the ground is a nice stand, and that's the sort of stand that we should have at Cheltenham, to be honest, instead of the old rickety main stand. But yeah, it's the rest of it is it's like. Do you remember our old cow shed?
Yeah,
we used to go down.
Yeah,
opposite the main stand. It's like that all the way around, but with more modern sort of feel to it, if you know what I mean.
It's a Sabutio feel about it, you mean?
Yeah, very much so.
Because I just looked at the stats, the text page on the BBC. Did I get it wrong? But did it say the ground is in Kingston, not in Wimbledon?
It's in the borough of Kingston.
Right. Yeah, I don't know that. Yeah, I don't know that area very well. You obviously know it better than I do.
Well, only because I was filming there the other week. But I drove past the ground the other week, and I thought, well, that's a good sign, because the local car dealership was called Robbins and Day. I thought, yeah, I'll have a bit of that, but that counted to nothing at the end of the day. Yeah. Little bit of a story on the way back home on the train. I was on the train because I had to change at Woking. There was literally 1 minute between trains.
Yeah.
There and back, and I literally had to run with my dodgy hip from platform bloody 1 to platform 3, and I literally just got on the train, sat down, and the train pulled off, skin of your teeth kind of thing. And on the way back from Woking, it's obviously it's dark and it's whatever. I'm just about to get off the train to change at Woking, and this woman gets out. I've got my Cheltenham Town face mask on, right, for COVID, which is just a badge. It doesn't say Cheltenham, it's just the Robbins badge. This woman gets up and she went, "Well, they tried hard, didn't they?" I just looked at her. She said, "Never mind, we'll do better next time." And I went, "What, you a Cheltenham fan?" And she said, "Yeah." So she's a Cheltenham fan living on Hayling Island.
Oh dear.
So, yeah, weird, isn't it?
Hayling Island, is that the Pool Island, or is it in Portsmouth? Hayling Island. Portsmouth.
It's just along the road. Yeah, about a 15-minute drive for me. Yeah,
you were talking about that 20-0 Sterling. Was it Sterling against Alloa? So
Selkirk.
So England ladies beat Latvia 20-0 there the other day.
Did you watch it?
No, I didn't.
It was like watching the Benny Hill show, mate. It was, the little chase he used to have at the end of the Benny Hill. It was like that. It was just like that. So I think it was like England were about 16 or 17-0 up, and I just happened to switch over channels, and they were like 16 or 17-0 up.
Yeah.
And then within seconds of me turning over, they scored like goal number 18 or whatever it was. And literally, they then kicked off, right from kickoff. Ball goes out the other end. It goes out for a goal kick. England forward, who's just scored, is stood on the edge of the penalty area. The goalkeeper takes a goal kick, and it doesn't even get out of the area, and it just goes straight to the striker. And she just and I'm thinking, this is comical. It was comical, and the England players were celebrating like they won a World Cup, even when they scored like the 19th goal.
Yeah,
and it's like, hang on a minute, you're playing bloody Latvia here.
Yeah, but I think there were some other big scores as well. That brings up the argument we've had about whether there should be like pre-qualifying and all that. Although personally, I feel that this is the way to go. Latvia have got to improve. So I think by playing the big teams, they will improve, even though it might take a long time.
Yeah, I agree. And somebody was saying the other day about the men's football as well, that, things like Andorra and Gibraltar and all the rest of it should be in their own qualifying group, and then they will be guaranteed to go to a big tournament. Well, what's the point of that? Because they get to the big tournament and then they'll end up being like El-Selhadar or whatever and getting beat 10 or 8-0 or whatever. Yeah. So I don't see there's any point in that, to be fair.
Yeah, no.
I think you're exactly. You're 100% right. They need to play better opposition to realise how far they've got to get.
Yeah, no pain, no gain. So in my opinion.
Well, again, we mentioned it the other week about Turkey. Turkey used to get whooped, 7 or 8-0 by teams like England and Germany and stuff like that. And yet it wasn't that long ago. They were coming third in the World Cup.
Yeah, and I think that's because they went through the pain barrier. They had those, poor results, but it made them try and play better, in my opinion. It's like in the Premier League, you could argue, that the English teams are doing better because they play tougher and tougher games week in, week out.
Yeah.
The same argument as Guardiola said about City's young players. He said it's no good playing, in the youth league and the under-23 league. They need to be playing against adults in real, higher league standard football. Graeme Lasso, he was talking about the outside of the foot being in fashion. So Cancelo made a great pass the other week for Sterling, I think it was. So how about you, Jase? Were you an outside of the boot player or two-footed?
I suppose I'd like to think that I was both, but that makes me sound like a better player than I actually was. But I wouldn't think twice about playing a pass with the outside of my foot, because I could get that. I used to do it more when I played five-a-side, to be honest, because I could then bend it around or off the wall or whatever, put a bit of spin on it. You put a spin on the ball with the outside of the boot and it would come off the wall. It would cause the defenders all kinds of problems because they wouldn't know which way it was going to go. But if a ball fell to my left foot, I'd have a ping with my left peg, no problem. But
I guess it depends on the position of the ball and your feet and all those kind of things. I think I think also
I used to say to my lads when I was coaching them that if we used to have a 20-minute session where I'd get them to put a trainer on their strong foot rather, and just wear the boot on their weaker foot, so that I could see that they were using whatever. We used to have a little bit of a 15-20-minute session doing that, just to try and get them used to, instead of like stopping it with their weaker foot and bringing it onto their stronger foot, just hitting it with their weaker foot, that kind of thing. I mean, I think in this day and age, if players say they're out and out one-footed players, they shouldn't be playing top-level football, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. So they've got enough time in the week to practice on their weaker foot, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I think players should be trying to play with both feet, although I'm struggling to think of names, but I think there have been some high-quality players who've been very one-footed, and there still are.
Mo Salah does the outside. It does the outside of the foot quite a lot. Yeah. And I've also seen him as well miss chances or waste chances by trying to bring it onto his stronger foot.
Yeah, that's a real. Yeah, that really is very irritating when you realise they need to bring it back onto the other foot.
Yeah, it irks me a lot.
Okay, Cheltenham, second smallest player budget in the League One after Crewe. Crewe have the smallest budget. So that probably explains why what's his face left for Wrexham. Especially for players lower down the league. I mean, they have to earn a living.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with that. And all we'll end up doing until something drastically changes, like some kind of takeover or whatever, all we'll end up doing is what we always do, which is either get some journeymen or we'll get loan players that are only going to stay for 5 minutes. And then when they go, we end up having to rebuild again. So, you end up like rebuilding 2 or 3 times every season.
Okay. So you were talking about West Ham. Have City played West Ham? Well, yes, they have. I just remember it clearly now. So they played them just 2 Saturdays ago. And I was watching it. And there are some games when I watch them, bear in mind, I don't live in the UK now, so I have to watch it all on TV. And one of the things that really bugs me when I'm watching games on TV, and I can remember the Arsenal-Liverpool game, FA Cup final 71, the highlights, that is. I don't remember. I don't remember watching it live, but I do remember watching the next year, the FA Cup final the next year, which was Leeds and Arsenal, I think, with that Alan Clark header. I remember watching that live, but I don't remember watching the Arsenal-Liverpool final. But in that game, the sun was shining brightly, and it's one of those games where the sun shines brightly on one part of the pitch and you can't really see very clearly what's going on. So I really hate watching games where the sun's really bright and you can't see part of the pitch very well. And this was the opposite. It was
snow, right?
It was freezing cold and snow. And why couldn't they have had an orange ball? Because I couldn't see. Okay, my eyesight might explain it, but you couldn't see the ball being passed around because it was so heavy by the end of the first half. So I think that's really poor that they don't have an orange ball. They were just kept playing with the yellow ball, and you could barely see it on the pitch. So they should have an orange ball. Surely it's only a matter of color scheme. That's all. You can still have the advertising on the ball, surely. So
but providing that they've actually manufactured an orange ball.
Well, that's the thing. I don't think they have. They haven't prepared for that eventuality. That's what it is.
No, they wouldn't have done, because most of the time these days you get two flakes of snow and the game's called off, mate.
Yeah, but you're going to have it every now and again. I think that's really poor show, in my opinion, that they didn't have an orange ball. You couldn't see it.
I think the orange ball is a thing of folklore now. I think it doesn't exist anymore.
Well, I don't. All the television companies paid all that money, and then viewers are paying subscriptions and so on, and they can't see the product.
I agree.
The other thing about that game was, I don't know whether you saw it or not, but I was worried because City were winning 1-0, and I was thinking, this game's going to get bloody abandoned. And Lee Jackson, I think he's the City head groundsman. As soon as the halftime whistle went, they were all on there trying to clear the grass. And the 15, I don't know, how long is the break these days? It seems to get longer and longer. Is it 15, 20 minutes? How long is it?
It's 15 minutes, supposed to be, but it never is.
Do you remember when we were young, you'd look at the not a video printer, a teleprinter on Grandstand or on World of Sport, the games would be finishing at 4:40. Do you remember that? It was 10-minute breaks.
Yeah.
So the game would be over at 4:40. These days, it's 5:55, sometimes 5 o'clock when the game's finishing.
That's right.
And so in that game, so they were clearing the grass of snow at half time, and Michael Oliver gave them 5 minutes extra to clear the pitch. I was just wondering, that must be within the laws of the game, is it? I was just wondering about that rule.
Yeah, a referee can do what he likes. He could have abandoned it for, I mean, look what they did with what's his name, Ericsson. They abandoned that game for a half a day, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Anyway, that was going to bring me on to my latest pet peeve.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, we've only got about 10 minutes left, Jay, so make sure it's within that 10 minutes.
It is a quick one. It's a quick one, right? So modern day scoreboards in the grounds, right? Modern day scoreboards in the grounds are great because you can see the minutes ticking over. It's all digital, it's all electronic. So anytime you look up, you see how many minutes have gone, right? And you know how many minutes have left, right? every bloody scoreboard in the country, when it ticks around to 90, that's when it stops. So if there's like 5 or 6 minutes of bloody injury time, you don't know how long is left because it doesn't go 91, 92, 93, 94. And it is my biggest bloody pet peeve.
Yeah, I mean, that is weird, isn't it? Why can't they just say it's 91 or whatever? That is strange. Yeah, hadn't really occurred to me before.
Anyway, that was a quick one, but that is my pet peeve at the moment.
Yeah, actually, that reminds me of something else. Actually, I noticed. So, if you remember back, is it the '74 World Cup? Clive Thomas disallowed the Brazil goal because time was up. Okay,
that's right. Yeah,
time was up, and but I notice now. So even if time is officially up, so there could have been 4 added on minutes or something. You notice the referees give the attacking, if they have a corner or a free kick, the refs are giving them the time to take those. What do you think about that? Is that a law, or are they just is it discretion?
I think it's a directive. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a directive. I'll ask my mate who's a referee. I'll ask him. I'm sure it's a directive.
You know, and what happens if the defending team just keeps knocking it out of play for another corner again and again and again? I guess he would call time after the first corner, my guess is.
Oh, I would think so, yeah. But yeah, that Clive Thomas incident would never happen again, ever.
Yeah, you wonder about that. Was that about the rules of the game, or was it all about Clive Thomas?
Was it all about what was on his betting slip?
Could you bet on football back in those days? I think you could only bet on football on horse racing back in those days.
I don't know, mate.
Okay, and I see, getting back to FFP, see Juventus are being investigated by Italian police regarding their financial dealings from 2018 to 2021. And not forgetting, 2018 was about the time, what's his name? Agnelli was shouting about Man City. Barcelona were also shouting about Man City. And of course, all the time they were shouting about Man City, they had humongous debts. And they were also exchanging players between each other for big fees. So, but you won't read much about that in the media.
No, you won't read much about the legacy of Michel Platini either. I'm sure he had something to do with it.
Also,
mafia as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Or that Wenger was one of his confidants.
Yeah.
Yeah. So also there was a Portuguese game a week or so ago. Benfica played Belenenses. I don't know about the pronunciation on that one. Belenenses started with 9 men. And I think one of those 9, I think 2 of those 9 men were actually goalkeepers.
Jesus. How many did they finish with?
Well, the game didn't finish because they were losing 7-0 at half time. And then the game was abandoned when they quite correctly went down to 6 men. So it sounds to me like a bit of creative injuries to me, or sendings off.
Yeah, that sounds pretty creative.
But you know, a lot of people have said, why did that game ever start?
I experienced that firsthand in a game for Dowty Dynamoes against the Calcutta. Calcutta rocked up with 8 men, and then quickly had 2 sent off. We had to replay it. Bloody hell, that was dodgy. Cheltenham Sunday League.
Okay, Jase, let's look ahead to this midweek. and the weekend. So Cheltenham, I think, are playing Cambridge tonight, my time, tomorrow yours. City are at Leipzig, already qualified in the Champions League. I think Liverpool are already qualified. And then on Saturday, I think it is, Steven Gerrard, 3 out of 4. Where's he playing at? Where are Villa playing at the weekend?
Liverpool.
So I'm sure we get a great reception. And as we were talking, or I was saying the other day, I think he's the guy Newcastle should have appointed. So I think Villa could have made a bit of a coup there by getting him. What do you make of that game?
Yeah, he'll get a good reception, but it will. I think no Liverpool fans will. I know that will stop the minute the game kicks off. Anything else would not be tolerated, I don't think. So it'll be forgotten about. You know, when that game kicks off, he's an Aston Villa manager. He's an ex-Liverpool player. That's it.
This is the old Stevie Cottrell treatment at One Road the other week. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly right. He would have got a short shift from me, I'm telling you, if I'd been there. But yeah, see, Shrewsbury have got Liverpool in the third round of the FA Cup.
Oh, really? They played Liverpool. Yeah. Was it last year in the FA Cup or the year before?
Yeah. So yeah, Cottrell's taken them up to Anfield.
Okay, and then just one more thing before we finish. So. Yeah, Chesterfield are going to Chelsea in the FA Cup. So Chesterfield are a non-league team these days. I remember when the guy went to Kevin Davis when he was at Chesterfield. He helped them get to the semi-finals of the FA Cup going back. I don't know how long ago that was.
Yeah, and they should have bloody won as well because they had a goal that was over the line. It was disallowed against Middlesbrough, wasn't it?
Okay, and then
against Middlesbrough. Yeah.
Okay, and then the final point, we were touching on this a week or so ago. Not a player, but in Egypt, a team, I think they equalised. I don't think they got the winner. They equalised late in the game, a minute or so to go. He had a heart attack and died. I mean, he wasn't a player, but in Japan, Shonan, I think is the name of the team. I don't know. They usually have something to go with that, but I'm not sure what it is. An epithet, but I can't remember the name of the team. But 23-year-old Japanese female player had a heart attack and died as well, just the other day. So that raises the issue of our players being looked after properly, our clubs demanding too much of them. What treatment are they getting? What medication are they taking and all that sort of stuff? Maybe it's just because of this day and age, you know, with the 24/7 media scrutiny, maybe it's the same as it's always been. It's getting publicized more, but I'm not sure about that.
I still think I need to look into whether it's linked to having the vaccine myself personally.
Yeah. But that seems to be kind of a lot of cases in a short period of time. Unless there's anything else you want to talk about, Jase, let's call it a day there.
All right, mate.
Yeah, so Cheltenham are playing at home, I think, against Cambridge tonight. Let's hope we can get the 3 points.
They need to bounce back. They need to show a reaction after Saturday because they just literally did not turn up.
Yeah. Okay, anyway, cheers, Jase. See you next time.
All right, mate.